I wouldn't recommend listening to this alone. Many viewers miss the real horror by leaving early. Stay till the end, if you dare. When my friend Daniel was 15, he lived in a small town on the edge of a dense forest. Nothing about his life seemed unusual then. School, cricket in the streets, late-night movies, ordinary teenage things. But there was one incident he never talks about unless someone forces him to remember. Because that incident changed how he slept, walked alone, and even how he breathed in the dark. And every time he tells it, he says one sentence first. It followed me home, and once something follows you, it never really leaves. The Dare. It started during summer break. Daniel and two of his friends, Mark and Lewis, decided to explore the old Riverside Trail, a place known for animal attacks, sudden disappearances, and one abandoned structure locals never went near. The hunter's cabin. People said the man who owned it died inside, alone, with his face twisted like he'd seen something no human should ever see. Daniel didn't believe in ghosts. At 15, nobody really does. So when Mark dared him, go to the cabin by yourself, knock on the door 3 times and come back, Daniel laughed. They stood at the edge of the forest as the sun began sinking, orange bleeding into purple. You scared? Lewis teased. Of a dead hunter. Daniel smirked. Watch this. He entered the forest while his friends stayed behind. Inside the woods, the forest became darker than expected. The air felt heavy, colder than summer should ever feel. Each step cracked dried leaves, echoing unnaturally loud, as if the forest were listening. Daniel kept talking to himself to stay calm. It's just a stupid dare, just a cabin, nothing is in here. After 10 minutes, he saw it. A small wooden structure, half broken, standing crookedly like it was struggling to remain upright. Its window was shattered. The door was scratched. Long deep cuts, too big to be from any normal animal. The strange part, the cabin seemed warm, like it was breathing heat from inside, even though Daniel knew no one had lived there for years. He stepped closer. Something shifted inside. A shadow. A soft dragging sound. Daniel froze. Could be an animal, he thought. Or wind hitting loose wood. He forced himself forward, stopped at the door, lifted his hand, and knocked. 1. The sound was swallowed instantly, as if the air absorbed it. 2. A thump came from inside. 3. Silence. Daniel turned around, relieved that nothing happened. Until something moved behind the broken window. A tall figure. Thin. Wrongly shaped. And its face. Daniel couldn't see it clearly, but he knew it was staring at him. He ran. The feeling of being followed. Daniel reached his friends breathless. You actually did it. Mark laughed. But Daniel wasn't laughing. There's someone inside that cabin, he said. What? Who? I don't know, but it was tall. Taller than a person should be. Mark and Lewis mocked him, but as they all walked back home, Daniel kept turning around. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was behind them, silent, matching their steps, staying just far enough away to remain unseen. By the time he reached his house, the sky was black and moonless. Before going inside, Daniel looked down the road. The forest stood still, but there, at the exact place he had come from, something thin and tall slipped behind a tree. Watching. The first night. That night Daniel woke at 1:47 a.m. He didn't know why, until he heard it, a soft knock, not on the main door, on his bedroom window. 3 knocks, gentle, slow, exactly like the ones he made on the cabin door. Daniel felt his whole body go cold. He lived on the first floor. No one could reach that window without a ladder. He stayed frozen for minutes, listening. Then came a voice, soft, raspy, unnatural. You knocked. Now I knock. Daniel's throat tightened. The voice wasn't human. It sounded stretched, like someone forcing words through a broken throat. He didn't move the curtain. He didn't breathe. Moments later, The knocking stopped. But a shadow remained on the window. Standing still, watching him. It stayed until dawn. Footsteps in the hall. The next day, Daniel told his parents. They didn't believe him. His mother blamed nightmares. His father said Daniel must have imagined someone passing by. But that night, things got worse. At 2:33 a.m., Daniel woke again. This time to footsteps in the hallway. Slow, barefoot, dragging slightly. They stopped outside his door. Daniel slowly pulled the blanket over his mouth. The doorknob rattled lightly, as though someone were touching it from the outside with trembling fingers. Then, the door opened, only a few inches, enough for Daniel to see a tall, misshapen shadow standing in the crack, its head nearly reaching the top of the frame. He squeezed his eyes shut, tears sliding down his face. Something whispered, "Let me in." Daniel held his breath. Then he remembered something. His grandmother used to tell him, spirits can't enter unless you allow them. He didn't move, didn't respond, didn't open his eyes or mouth. After a while, the door slowly closed again, and the footsteps retreated. The third night, the face. The third night broke him. Daniel tried staying awake, but exhaustion pulled him under. At 3:15 a.m., he snapped awake to breathing right next to his face. He didn't dare open his eyes. But he could feel it. Hot, damp, irregular breath. Something was bending over him. When he finally gathered courage, he opened his eyes the slightest bit. And saw it, a white, stretched face hovering inches above him. Eyes completely black, like holes punched into a skull. The mouth was wide, too wide, torn at the sides like someone had cut it open. And it was smiling. Not a friendly smile, a hungry smile. Daniel screamed. The face snapped back instantly, jerking in an unnatural, broken motion, and evaporated into the dark corner of the room like smoke. His parents rushed in and switched on the lights, but the room was empty. Daniel was shaking uncontrollably. They took him to the hospital the next morning, thinking it was a mental breakdown. But the doctor found long scratch marks on Daniel's arms. Marks he couldn't have made himself. The final night, the return to the cabin. Daniel's grandmother came to visit when she heard what was happening. She listened quietly, then said something nobody wanted to hear. "It followed you because you knocked. You opened its door. Now it wants to enter yours." She told Daniel there was only one way to end it. You must take back what you did. Return to where it started. Return to the cabin. Alone. Daniel didn't want to go, but he was too terrified to sleep another night. So at sunset, he walked back to the forest. Every tree felt like an eye watching him. Every rustle felt like footsteps. When he reached the cabin, the air turned ice cold. The door was open a crack, as if waiting. Daniel swallowed hard and spoke, voice shaking. "I didn't mean to call you. I'm sorry. I'm leaving now. You stay here." Silence. Then something moved inside, slow, slithering, shifting in the dark. A deep voice emerged from the shadows. "Go." Daniel didn't wait. He ran out of the forest, not stopping until he reached home. What remained? That night, Daniel slept without interruption for the first time in days. No knocking, no footsteps, no breathing near his face. It seemed over, but some things never go away completely. Even now, at 25, Daniel refuses to knock on any door, house, car, room, anything. He avoids forests. He avoids dark windows. And he never sleeps without a light on. Sometimes, late at night, when he's half asleep, he swears he hears something far away. A distant knock, as if something still remembers him. Still waiting, still patient. Some things don't follow you forever. Others, they wait until you forget. Then they come back. If this story stayed in your mind longer than it should, leave a like, subscribe to Grim Wave, and tell me in the comments what part disturbed you the most.